I welcome you to the Messiah channel. It is a prophetic end time channel dedicated to preparing the world for the arrival of the Messiah. The final trumpet of heaven has sounded. We are in the last days, and as you see, we are in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the most powerful nation in the world at this time, United States, is spreading homosexuality over the world. And we are in the days of Lot. We are in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. And this message is dedicated to a question: which side will you be? Will you be on the side of God, or will you be on the side of Mammon? If you go by the side of God, it means that you need to affirm the principles of God, and you need to resist all policies and actions that are not holy, that are against God. But if you are not on the side of God, then you can go to the other side. You can go to the side of Mammon. You look for God or you look for Mammon. The US is engaging in what I call LGBT bullying tactics, spreading LGBT agenda over the world. And the nation that resist, particularly black nations in Africa that resist homosexuality, is being punished. And that was the case of Uganda, a black nation that passed a law against LGBT, and the United States, as part of her bullying tactics, removed Uganda from some economic programs, and is also doing other things diplomatically in order to coerce Uganda so that Uganda can resign the LGBT bill that they passed. And Ghana did the same. February 28, 2024, Ghana passed a bill unanimously by the Ghanaian Parliament. The bill is called Proper Sexual Relations and Ghanaian Family Values Bill. And the President of Ghana has to sign it into law in 7 days. And if he doesn't sign it into law, he has to explain to the Ghanaian people, the Ghanaian Parliament, why he did not sign the bill into law as the President of Ghana. So the President will take the side of God, or he will take the side of Mammon. There are a lot of bribery and corruption in the international system. And foreign aid, in some cases, is considered a bribe. It's aid given to a nation as a bribe so that a nation will pursue a certain policy or not pursue a certain policy. And so when we're talking about LGBT agenda in America, and LGBT diplomacy, they tell you if you do anything against LGBT, if you do not promote LGBT agenda in your country, we are going to stop giving you aid, and we are going to take other diplomatic measures against you. We will restrict your people coming to America, and we will deny you all kinds of aid. And this is what they are doing. They are using what we call carrot and stick diplomacy. We'll give you carrots, we'll give you money, but otherwise, if you don't take our carrots, if you don't take our money, what we do is that we give you the stick. And this is the policy that America has pursued all along, not only in Africa, but it's part of America's bullying tactics in the Caribbean, in Latin America, and also in Asia. And they try also to bully other nations, including, of course, China and Russia. And the result is not good, because now we see that the mighty doesn't have any followers. Small, less powerful nations in Africa, they are taking the side of God. They are not taking the side of Mammon. So if you take the case of Uganda, a poor African nation, they said, yes, we are going to pass a bill against homosexual acts in Uganda. And you can go to hell. You can take all your aid. And they did it, and America removed Uganda from economic programs and also economic aid. And I believe that other measures are on the table against Uganda. And Ghana passed a law, as I said, February 28, 2024. And the case of Ghana is very interesting. As you are aware, Ghana is a major nation in Africa, the first black nation to get independence in 1957. And on that occasion, the president of Ghana said something that is very interesting. He said that Ghana or Africa prefers self-government with danger to servitude in tranquility. We prefer self-government with danger to servitude in tranquility. This is what Nkrumah was saying when he was leading his nation for independence. He knew that Ghana would be the first black nation to get independence from British and European colonial imperialism. And people were wondering how Ghana will fare if Ghana got independence and the Europeans withdrew any support that they had from Africa. And Nkrumah made it clear, and he said, we prefer self-government with danger to servitude in tranquility. In other words, if Ghana got independence and Ghana was burning and Ghana faced danger, it will be better, because Ghana will be a sovereign nation facing danger. And that situation will be better than if Ghana was under servitude, involuntary servitude, and Ghana was peaceful. Servitude in tranquility. You will be safe. We will protect you because you are slaves. That's what the Europeans did. And once you are a puppet, you serve them, they will protect you. And this is what France did to the Francophone countries. And nowadays, the African nations are accepting their cultural, they are accepting themselves culturally. They are coming out of Babylonian control, and they are not accepting the carrots, and they are also not accepting the stick, and they are resisting the stick. And so what will happen if the United States finds out that Ghana is no longer a subservient nation? African black nations are no longer subservient. They are no longer under involuntary servitude. What should be the policy of Ghana and black nations. Should they take the side of God, or should they take the side of Mammon? And should they succumb to Babylon, America's LGBTQ bullying tactics? If you look at the Bible, the Old Testament, the prophet Daniel, he was in Babylonian captivity, but the captivity was not in him. He was offered food. The food was offered to idols, to pagan gods, and he did not eat it. He would rather starve to death than take meat offered to idols. LGBTQ is tantamount to food given to idols because it's an abomination. It's a pagan practice. It is the heathen practice that occurred in Sodom and Gomorrah, and as a result, God destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Babylon, United States, representing Lucifer, representing the center of resistance against God, and they are spreading homosexuality over the world. And they are telling nations that if you don't promote homosexuality, then we will impose economic sanctions against you. This policy is a mixture of arrogance and ignorance. It's a mixture of arrogance and ignorance because it is only an arrogant nation that will seek to impose her values on other nations and promote her values as universal, even if the values are not universal. And it's not every nation that believes in LGBTQ plus. It's not every constitution in the world and that supports the so-called rise of LGBTQ plus. But the United States, being so arrogant, assume that the American Constitution is supreme, is even superior to the Charter of the United Nations. It's above all constitutions. After all, America is the civilized nation in the world. What type of arrogance is that? America is spreading LGBT culture over the world. And now that Ghana has passed a law that LGBT activities and advocacy are criminal in Ghana, the United States, the Babylon of our days, will have to react, and everybody will know America's true colors. When they saw that Ghana was preparing to pass the bill, anti-LGBT bill, Kamala Harris came to Ghana. It was part of a diplomatic lobbying and bullying tactics so that Ghana will stop passing a bill against LGBT. But Ghanaians are very proud, and they are a very proud nation, being the first black nation to get independence at a time that America was supporting their friends, Europeans, in colonizing the African nations. We remember what President Ronald Reagan did when it came to human rights of black people in apartheid South Africa. Even though the US Congress later on passed a bill, Comprehensive Anti-Apartheid Act, President Reagan vetoed the bill because the American president, Ronald Reagan, being racist, being anti-black, did not want to support the emancipation of Negroes in Africa. And so when it comes to human rights, and America didn't see the rise of black people in Soweto during the Soweto massacre. America didn't see the rise of black people during apartheid. It was as a result of demonstrations on campuses in America. It was the result of diplomatic pressure put on pressure put on America by other nations, other groups, students in America. It was as a result of that that America reluctantly supported measures against apartheid in South Africa. It came too late, and now they are turning around and pretending that America is a bastion of human rights, and they are showing a lot of arrogance by claiming that LGBT rights are human rights and it should be supported by nations. The African nations have a choice. They have a choice to stand on the side of God or to stand on the side of Mammon. And of course, foreign aid to some extent is bribe. And that's how you see foreign aid being sent to other nations, even including nations that are gross violators of human rights. And America still gives aid to some of these nations. The diplomatic record is very clear. And when it comes to Africa, the diplomatic record is different because if you talk about anti-LGBT, Saudi Arabia has more draconian laws about LGBT. Death is the sentence. In Qatar, death is the sentence. But in Africa, America is resisting LGBT laws. Even when the Muslim countries, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they have laws against LGBT that are more draconian. So it's a question of money. And the African nations, would they be on the side of God or would they be on the side of money? Would they allow LGBT culture to penetrate the African system because of money? Because of the money that they give them, either as foreign aid or money that they give them under the table. Would they be on the side of God or would they be on the side of Mammon? And that is a choice for them. But the Lord is watching. The wrath of God will be poured on nations. And the Lord said that he will come. The Messiah said he will come and he will send his angels to all the four corners of the earth. And he will destroy things that offend God. The Messiah has said it. When he comes, he will send his angels to all the four corners of the earth, and he will destroy things that offend God. And I'm sure that the first things that will be destroyed will be the American Constitution, because it's a constitution that offends God. It's a constitution that denies the existence of God. It denies the existence of God. It's a constitution that was the basis of expelling God from classrooms in America. In the case of Angel versus Vatali in 1962, a Supreme Court case that stated that saying God's name in the Lord's Prayer in public schools in America violates the Constitution of the United States. So you should not mention God's name in prayers in public schools in America. And that is the Constitution. And if God is going to destroy things that offend the world, will the American Constitution not be one of those things that will be destroyed? Would gay bars in San Francisco, LGBT cafes, will they not be some of the things that will be destroyed by God when He sends His angels to all the four corners of the earth to destroy things that offend God? As God destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, will He not destroy the Sodomite cities? And if God is going to destroy the Sodomite cities, why should Africa incur the wrath of God and follow America into perdition? America is going to perdition. It's going into perdition. America has taken the road of Sodom and is using all tactics, LGBT bullying tactics, in order to get people to follow America into perdition. But the question we are asking is, why is America not telling Saudi Arabia to stop persecuting or prosecuting homosexuals? Why is America not telling Qatar to stop criminalizing homosexuality? Why is America only telling black nations to accept homosexuality? Is it part of racism, or is it a spiritual matter? Is America doing this because it is a satanic contract to destroy God's people? The fact is very clear that the children of God are scattered over the world, and they are the Hebrews who were scattered to the four corners of the earth. Interestingly, in Ghana, we have the biggest slave dungeons, Elimina Castle, they call it a castle, and Cape Coast Castle, Elimina slave dungeon, and Cape Coast slave dungeons. And you can deduce from that fact that God's people, the Hebrews, the Negroes who were scattered over the world, they were scattered from Ghana, and they know who they are. And so in the last days, there's a satanic plot to destroy the Hebrews. And that's why I believe the United States is interested in spreading homosexuality in black nations in Africa. After all, didn't King Balak hire a prophet Balaam to go and curse the Hebrews? Didn't that happen in the Old Testament? Yes, it did. And so we have to look at it from a spiritual angle. If it is a political agenda to spread, quote unquote, human rights in the world, then I believe America will promote LGBT rights in Saudi Arabia, and America will promote LGBT rights in Qatar. Qatar has a death penalty for homosexuals. Saudi Arabia has a death penalty for some homosexuals. But America is not promoting human rights in Saudi Arabia. America is not challenging the death penalty in Qatar. America will challenge 3-year criminal sentence for homosexuals in Ghana, but America will not challenge a death penalty for homosexuals in Saudi Arabia. You have to analyze it from a spiritual point of view. It's a satanic plot to offer meat that was given to idols to the children of God. It's a satanic plot to destroy the children of God. After all, black nations and in Africa are Christians, and the Hebrews were scattered to all the four corners of the earth. The Negroes, they are African. And so, what a better opportunity to destroy the children of God by giving them the dose of homosexuality, by punishing African nations because they have the audacity to pass a law against homosexuals. And so this is how we have to look at it. And the warning is very clear. The African nations, they have the option to be on the side of God, or they have the option to be on the side of Mammon. But they have to resist. They have to resist Babylon, America's LGBT bullying tactics, even to the point of death. And so Ghana and the other sister nations in Africa, the black nations, they should not accept the carrot and stick tactics from Babylon, America, and they should not succumb to the LGBT bullying tactics from Babylon, United States, a nation that has allowed her children to take the road of Sodom. As Nkrumah said in Ghana, Africans should prefer self-government with danger to servitude in tranquility. After all, in 1965, Nkrumah wrote a book, Neocolonialism, the Last Stage of Imperialism. It was a book that criticized the neo-colonial policies imposed on Africa by the Western powers, including the United States. And as a result of the book, the president of the US at that time, I believe it was President Johnson, there was a ship carrying wheat to Ghana. The president ordered the ship to return to America. In other words, America suspended her food aid to Ghana because the president of Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah, had written a book that America considered as an attack on the United States. But this time, Americans and Babylon America should know that they cannot bully black nations into submission, and they cannot align with any black nations in opposing God, and particularly in affirming policies for which the Lord destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah with fire. And America is destined to be destroyed with brimstone and fire because it's the Sodom of the world. And African nations, black nations, should not partake of the plagues that the Lord is going to unleash on Babylon, America, because America has taken the road of Sodom. So this is a tactic. Satan and his agents, they are using all bullying tactics to spread homosexuality in Africa. In that way, the Africans, the black people, they will have partaken in the sins of Babylon, and therefore they will receive the plagues of Babylon. African and black people should not take the bait. And so this is a warning, not only to Africans, but also to the Hebrews who are scattered over the world, and particularly to the Negroes who are Hebrews who live inside Babylon. It's an attempt to spiritually contaminate you by imposing a heathen, pagan, LGBT plus culture on you, so that the wrath of God will come on you. They did the same thing to you when King Balak bribed a prophet, Balaam, to go and curse you so that God will destroy you. Don't take the bait. Be on the side of God. Don't be on the side of Mammon, and resist all Babylon, America's bullying LGBT tactics. Thank you for watching this.